uh, this is my Smackdown review, and it was honestly a very good show. I would give it a 3.5 out of 5. The thing is, the some segments that people did like, I didn't like, but one thing that you can say is that this Smackdown feels like what Smackdown should feel. An important show overall. Like every segment had a meaning, everything felt like nothing felt like it was filler. Only thing filler you can say is the length of some matches, but apart from that, nothing was filler. And I think one of the main reasons is because of the KO and KOTR, because they are just fatal four-way matches, but they do actually matter. And the thing is, we had all the first round matches of SmackDown end this week only. So we are getting the semi-finals match next week on SmackDown, and Raw will have its first round ending next week. So we'll probably get the Raw matches happening the week after the next week. On Raw, we'll probably get another semi-finals, and then the last semi-finals. Maybe we'll get the last semi-finals on SmackDown only, or we'll get the semi-finals on Raw as well. So on the third week of Raw, I guess. In my opinion, what the first segment, I missed the first segment because I was actually asleep. I woke up closer to 6, like till that time the segment had ended. It was essentially, Cena coming out, then Cody coming out, then Randy coming out. Randy Orton has returned, and he essentially was like, I know now I have to do what it takes, and if I have to, like, Cody, I love you as a brother, if I have to beat your ass, I'll do that too. So you also had then LA Knight show up as well, and he was like, you, if I have to beat a nightmare, I'll beat a nightmare. If I have to beat a viper, I'll beat a viper. If I have to, like, beat a genius bald ass bitch like John Cena, I'll beat him too, which was a funny line. Also, Cena was genuinely good as a heel. I didn't see much footage, but what what they're playing at is, without directly mentioning it, but playing into the fact that CM Punk had that blood money like jibe at Miz, and now how he wants to expose CM Punk's sociopathic tendencies and expose him as a hypocrite. Also, he laid out what was his actual plan for the retirement tour, and I'm glad for one thing that he has stopped doing the exaggerated voice that he used to do as a heel. Nothing like that used to make him like seem really cartoonish, and this is the Cena, like this is the heel Cena that you want. Like, he has the normal tone, he's actually saying things that make sense according to the storyline, not just random heel gibberish to be a heel. And it made sense, like people were actually booing John Cena, and that's how the segment ended. And Cena in the end, like, went out of the ring and got attacked by Ron Killings, R-Truth. One thing they have to mention is he still R-Truth or not? Because you have the commentators not going like even a second, like you have mentioning R-Truth 4 times, but then R-Truth himself is like, no, I'm Ron Killings. Then Nick Aldis is like calling him our truth. So I don't get, like, even the match graphic that was announced, it had our truth instead of Ron Killings. In a way, it feels like he's kind of doing a split personality gimmick, in a way that the people who wrong him or who are not respecting him, he like goes fully ballistic. When it's like people who are like neutral to him or like good to him, he's like kind of like the old Arthur, but kind of like a child. Like, he doesn't really know how to interact with them. He goes into his like shell, like they kind of like a little baby. You saw that happening. You had the first fatal four-way, which had LA Knight, Carmelo Hayes, Randy Orton, and yeah, these Randy Orton, LA Knight, Carmelo Hayes. Who was the fourth guy? I don't remember who was the fourth guy. So you had that match. I would say, yeah, Aleister Black. So you had that match, and I think match, it had a lit some sequences were clunky, but overall it was a fine match. It was a good match. You can say that the way they landed on some moves, like you had to like some some pin kickouts and some like pin disruptions were not timed to the perfection, but this was a good match. I would say it was a really good match. In the end, you had Braun Breaker show up and spear LA Knight. He was with Bronson Reed. And then what you had was Carmelo sitting on the top rope. And Carmelo is so funny, man. I just don't want him to be the doll figure because he's so funny in this heel role that he's so like overconfident in himself that he's gonna win. So the laugh, the smile that he's like, I'm gonna win, and he just fucking jumps. And even his expressions midway during the splash, when he saw like Randy Orton was just there between the splash, and then Randy hits an RKO. Carmelo like rolls because he got hit, so he got rolled out of the ring, and Randy pins LA. In a way, they have protected Carmelo because they could have just had him like do the RKO and pin him, and he did kind of look like the guy who would take the pin because LA, you don't really want him to take the pin. I was surprised that LA took the pin, but I think this would fuel his character even more, that there were two chances for him to like win or like have a chance for the world championship, and first he got screwed and he was the last guy there. Even here, he was the guy who got pinned. So I think this will fuel his character more. Like I can genuinely see LA coming to Raw because Jey Uso is in the tournament, and probably like hitting a BFT on Bronson Reed, and then Uso hits a splash and gets the victory. I think that's what's gonna happen. Do you really want Bronson to take a pin? But they have shown that at least since Bronson has come back, like they are not wary of Bronson taking punishment. Like he got taken out by Jacob Fatu, right? In the Money in the Bank. It's just that I don't want either Rusev or Sheamus to get pinned, and it won't make sense for the other two to get pinned. Like Rusev has just come back and he's going to go into a program with Sheamus. So having like Jay pin Sheamus, like then why is Rusev feuding with Sheamus then? You can pick out a storyline reason, but you want to keep them strong. And also that Jay will get a big victory also because he just lost to Gunther. It will take him further, and also that surprise, surprise, Cody won. So Cody versus Jey Uso in the semi-finals, I think, is a good story to tell. Even though as a pure match quality, probably Sheamus would have been better or any other three, but storyline wise, Jay is I think the more better choice, and you can then have Seth interfere in that match also, maybe like further the story between Seth and Cody too, and you can have like Cody beat Jey Uso like in a roll up or by a 10 count or something. You can do that too. Maybe Seth is trying to like have Cody in his good in his good books, because he wants power. So he wants someone who is going for the King of the Ring, who he thinks is going to win the King of the Ring, like maybe be in his like good book so that he can control more power. He can do that also. So further, I think going forward, it's going to be Cody versus Randy. Also, I think in the finals, like you're having Randy Orton versus Sami Zayn on the next Smackdown in the semi-finals, and I think they'll have a good match. They'll have a good match. Probably it will be a good main event too. I think going forward, you also had a backstage segment with Zelina where she essentially was like, "I want a face to face with Julia next week," and this is the first time that since becoming champion, uh, Zelina Vega is gonna have a promo, and this shows that they have a lot of like they want to push Julia because they have not done this. Like doing this with a mid card title, like giving a face to face confrontation is a big deal. So I'm so this is probably setting up a match at Evolution, I think, because you would have expected I expected this to happen immediately, like maybe next week you're having that match, but I think this is probably leading to a match at Evolution. But it is long, like you have like a month till Evolution, so this build has to be long. So let's see, like Evolution. So you have Julia taking the title of Selena. Then next, going forward, you had the uh, the the Naomi with the Money in the Bank, like her essentially like talking about her history, that she did this, like she's not the good Naomi anymore. That it is ironic that last time when she wanted to take the title from Nia Jax, it was Tiffany who had the briefcase, and because of her, she didn't win the title. And then Tiffany came out, and and I, I kind of like, I can like laugh at how they have written Tiffany's character, because she's kind of like the same like heel bitch that she was before. But now that she's a face, just because the other character is a heel, they have her like just be the same Tiffany Stratton. It's just that she's doing it against the heels. Because Tiffany was a real bitch. Like she just said that Naomi didn't win because she didn't have the capacity to win. Well, that's not true. Naomi had the title won many times. It's because of you that she couldn't win. It's because of you that Nia Jax retained her title on the Smackdown, that you eventually cashed in your Money in the Bank. So it doesn't, like, that's a very bitchy thing to say, but I get why they are doing this, because they have realized Tiffany as a pure meat baby face is not the way to go. And also that this is probably, if you do it against Tiffany, is so over anyways, so if you have her say this stuff against heels, it would not really matter that much. And also like you had backstage stuff with shown between the SmackDown tag team division, uh, and SmackDown tag team division had like two segments on this show, which was a backstage segment first, which was essentially all the tag teams being there, DIY doing the comedy heel role, which was to say that which was essentially that they wanted all the other teams to go fight the Wyatt Six, especially Fraxium, and Fraxium was ready, but then Nick Aldis decided that it would be Motor City Machine Guns, because it was actually Motor City Machine Guns who first like put their name towards fighting Wyatt Six, and everyone then encouraged them, and then they went. Wyatt Six got a good pop on their entrance. It's just that I don't like where they have put Wyatt Six. Like, like the show already had like 1.5 hours, and you are having a tag match where you have it against Motor City Machine Guns, where who have been an established tag team on the main roster, but they're not that over, because they have not gotten a chance to show who they are as a person, who they are as characters through promos or through video vignettes. So crowd is not really that into them. And also then you have the two members who are Dexter Loomis and Joe Gacy, who are not really known by the main roster. Like Dexter Loomis is, but this is not the Dexter Loomis that people know. I think if Rowan was there, it would have, I think, have had more interest in the match. Like there were botches in the match, especially in the end. Like some things that Dexter Loomis and Joe Gacy were not able to get right. This was not an abysmal match. This was a decent match. It went on for too long, I think. But I think you need to have that, because you need to like ground these characters. They're still very supernatural, like their entrance, and then Dexter Loomis doing the scary thing, coming from behind, crawling and like scaring. I think it was Alex Shelley, but the finish was fine, like a leg drop from the top. The thing is, I get why they're not having Rowan, because Rowan can act like as the big man who will like cause distractions in the tag team matches, so that you can protect the baby faces and all. But you can still do that with any any other one, because I think what this tag division doesn't have is like one big guy in there. And I think if you have Rowan there, like you have an interesting dynamic there also. Like you can do a lot of other stuff. Like you can have a powerhouse like Rowan, and you can have all these high flyers also around him. Like him being a threat in that ring can also like increase the threat which the Wyatt Six are. I get why they're doing this, and also because Rowan is probably like the god of the Wyatt Six and everything. But I think it would have been much better. It would have added a new dynamic, even like in storyline wise, but also like in ring wise in SmackDown Tag Team Division. It's fine. I think what's probably gonna happen is like all the teams are gonna fight the White Six where DIY is trying to get away. Eventually, they will have that DIY match where they will like squash them. I do want to see what they do with Fraxium because they have protected Fraxium a lot. Like in that, except that tag match, like Fraxium has not lost a match on the main roster. Like when Wyatt Six interfered, they actually attacked Montez first, so that's why Street Profits won that match by disqualification. I do want to see what they do in the Fraxium match. Like I can see that ending in a maybe a DQ because I do think that they want to protect and they're going to protect Fraxium a lot. And I want to see like where does this end? Like does this end in like a tag title match at Saturday Night's main event? Maybe you do that there. Maybe have White Six versus Street Profits there, or maybe you do like a multi-tag match at Saturday Night's main event, or like maybe you take this to SummerSlam and have the White Six in a multi-man, multi-tag match where you have the White Six take the where you have the White Six take the titles of the Street Profits. Like you can do a lot of things. I do want to see where does this end. I do think they have a plan. I do think finally they have written some things which is interesting for them. I do want to see where this goes. Then you also had, the Jade Fatal 4-Way where you had Piper Niven and Michin and everyone. In that match, I would say this match was kind of nothing. Like it was fine. It's just that apart from Jade, there was no one really over in that match, so the crowd was pretty silent. But one thing that I liked was that Piper was got really a lot in the match. Like she was the one who was teaming up with Nia Jax in the match, like working over the baby faces. You, like you also had like her taking out Nia Jax of the match through the barricade, and you also had like Nia, like she kind of had the visual pin over Michin. Like she hit the whatever you call that splash or anything. She had the visual pin, like she just didn't go for it. Like Jade came from behind and gave her the jaded. So in a way, Jade kind of got the baby face, like fighting against three odds win. But Piper also was like she was just moments away from winning. In the Zelina segment, also one thing that I really liked was that the Secret Herwich had Chelsea interrupt because she couldn't be there. So Chelsea wanted her match shifted, but Nick Aldis just replaced her with Alpha Fire. So when Zelina came, she just lowered the voice of the FaceTime, and while the whole Zelina segment was going on, you can hear Chelsea in the background going off on the FaceTime, which was really funny to me. Then Jade won. You also had like a backstage segment, and even in that Tiffany segment, you had Nia Jax showing up, which I was really cross because Tiffany just beat Nia Jax. Like Tiffany has a great record over Nia Jax. Like Tiffany before WrestleMania pinned Nia Jax in a tag match. Just a few weeks ago, I think 1 week ago before Backlash, she pinned Nia in a great match for the WWE Women's Championship. So, with the rumors that Trish Stratus is coming out, I see probably next week Nia is going to be like, I want the title and everything. Then Tiffany is going to come out, and then probably Trish comes out, and she's like, uh, well, last time when I was here, like we beat you and Candice LeRae. So maybe I deserve a title shot, and maybe then you have like a number one contenders match between them, where Trish defeats Nia Jax, and then Trish Stratus challenges Tiffany Stratton for the title at Evolution. I think that's the plan. Like that is kind of like a dream match also, and I think Trish Stratus, if she is trained and if she cares, like she can go better than many women on the roster, which we saw in the Becky feud. Like when she cared, when she had an opponent who also cared, and they had an emotional investment in the storyline, like they will go in the ring, and I think they will. Like Tiffany is a great wrestler already. She's kind of felt like an afterthought after Mania. Like she has been in a good storyline, but she has not been the main focus of that. So I think Tiffany will probably win that. I can see Naomi probably after the match trying to cash in her money in the bank. I do think Jade is gonna win the Queen of the Ring unless you're having Stephanie Vaquer winning, because you also have to see like the winners that are here, and you have to see according to that who are the ones that are going to win, that makes sense according to like current ongoing storylines. Because you had Jade win here, you also had a fatal four-way between Alexa Bliss, Charlotte, Alba Fire, and Candice LeRae. Before the match, Alexa Bliss was having an interview with Byron Saxton. Charlotte interrupted her that she is the only true queen. Charlotte came out during her entrance, but then her entrance was interrupted by Alexa Bliss, and then they both went into the ring. That this match also was fine, like nothing special, but in the end, the ending sequence was good. I actually at first thought that they kind of botched it, that they wanted it to be like having Alba tap and Chelsea and LeRae getting pinned at the same time. But no, they had the right finish, where it was where one thing was that Alba Fire tapped when Charlotte actually left the lock after the match, so it didn't make sense, but it's fine. And Alexa Bliss actually gave the Sister Abigail DDT to Candice LeRae, and she won, which I don't think anyone expected. I thought that Charlotte would win. I think more than 80% I think ever thought that Charlotte would win. Jade and Charlotte would probably go to the finals, where Jade will beat Charlotte, and you'll have that will be the Queen of the Ring match. But no, Alexa Bliss won, and it makes sense according to storyline. Like they have actually built this storyline well. Like apart from like during the Money in the Bank qualifiers, you didn't really have Alexa and Charlotte interacting that much. But apart from that period, like they have really built this storyline well. Like which is a very simple storyline where Alexa Bliss, due to her NXT days, like kind of wants to help Charlotte, also wants to like because she was a mentor to her, and also that uh, but Charlotte, due to her ego, didn't take her help, because she's like, I'm the queen and all, where Alexa is saying that everyone needs friends, like your ego doesn't help, because Charlotte has an ego, but she's been losing. So this is pretty like simple storyline which has been built up for months actually. Like I can see this going in the way that eventually, maybe SummerSlam time, or maybe after that, I can see Alexa like kind of like you can see on the surface it seems like Alexa just wants to be friends, but Alexa actually does want to like control Charlotte and use her to go back to the Wired Six and be like a tag team with her. I can see that happening. So I am kind of like excited for what's going to happen in the future. Then you had, I would say, CENA coming out again, and I would say this was a segment that everyone liked. I didn't like. It felt like CM Punk doing that. You are the old CM Punk. I am the John Cena thing. Felt like they're just doing the thing which has been done a lot of time. Like CM Punk and Cody have done this twice before. Then CM Punk also like was very jittery in this promo. It felt like he was freestyling a lot, because I think he forgot a lot. uh, what he was actually supposed to say. You had Cena corpsing. Cena actually wanted, like, he wanted our truth to come out there, because he also like confronted Nick Aldis with his cap backwards, which was really funny. And it's just that CM Punk's content, he was like, I will go to Mars to fight you, which was fine. He also said that, that I will sacrifice you to the wrestling gods. I found that line very corny. Everyone loved it. I found it very corny. In my opinion, like, he wanted to say that he, like, Cena should apologize and give the chance to the people to, to acknowledge his efforts, and also that he called him a toddler and then said, oh no, you are just PG Cena, like that's a PG Cena level insult. Cena also had good lines where he essentially was that these people say your name, sing your song while wearing the shirt that I'm wearing, which was a good line. I think overall it was, I just didn't like the vibe. I just thought that this should have more viciousness that the 2011 stuff had. But then times have changed also, like roles have changed also. I would just say it was a missed segment. Like there were like some individual lines that maybe I did like, but I didn't overall like. I like the fact that the truth thing, like him saying all the lines and everything, and also that Ron Killings again attacked John Cena when after, and then CM Punk's last line was that the truth hurts, or the truth shall set you free, like that, and he was giving the STF. Like it was very like reminiscent of when like Seth was saying die die to CM Punk while Cena was giving the STF to CM Punk. And then this ended, you had Nick Aldis also confronting Ron Killings backstage, where he was like, I was already like chewed out by Cena, and Ron Killings in his like best like truth impression was like, I want a match with him like next week, and it is announced like Ron Killings will face Cena. I just want to like talk about like what will be the result there. Like, do you really want Cena to win this match? Because I think if Cena wins this match, like this character is just dead. Like Ron Killing's character, all this momentum that he has is just dead now. But you can't really like give Ron Killings a clean victory. I do think that this match is best that if it ends in a DQ, like you can have this match going on, but then uh, uh, either like Cena, because he's scared that R-Truth might actually beat him, like maybe hits him with the belt or something, like disqualifies himself, or you can have like R-Truth and Cena like brawling a lot, and because of that maybe it's like a 5 count on the ropes or the 10 counts outside, the match ends on a DQ. And also Cena wrestling on a Smackdown after I don't know how long. Like the last time Cena wrestled on Smackdown was what, that Roman Reigns match. I think apart from that he hasn't wrestled on Smackdown since since 4 years, I think. So okay, like I am interested in all the Ron Killing stuff. You can have Punk out there also. Maybe you give R2 the win, because you can set up things with that. Like if Punk comes out, maybe Punk causes R2 to win the match. What it can lead to is that Cena will retain against Punk, I think, probably due to Seth Rollins shenanigans. And then probably you end this Cena and R-Truth stuff at Saturday night's main event happening in Atlanta in a WWE Championship match. Maybe you can do it a no disqualification match, and there this ends, I think. Then you had the Fatal. Then you had also Punk and Cody Rhodes backstage, where Cody Rhodes was like, we cannot always avoid each other. And CM Punk, there was the best line that he had, like let's wait till after Night of Champions, we'll see who's chasing who. Like I got like legit, like felt like I got goosebumps after that. And I'm like, this is a WrestleMania 42 match, and I do think this is going to be a WrestleMania 42 match. I do think Cody is going to win the King of the Ring. I do think, and maybe win the title from Cena at SummerSlam. The poor Gunther, that he just won the World Championship and is going to lose again. I can see like Gunther like beating Goldberg at Saturday Night's main event, and then you have Seth cash in just after that. Well, I just don't want Seth Gunther to get pinned again, but that's what's gonna happen. Unfortunately, you had a fatal four-way match with Damien Priest, Cody Rhodes, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Andrade. Only thing that I didn't like you could have given that Andrade spot to Carmelo at the Money in the Bank. Like you are protecting him now. You could have protected him in that match also. Like Carmelo could do all the stuff Andrade can. It's just that he was a heel. You could have tweaked things a little. It would have been fine. But then I'll digress. This was a really good match. Everyone showed out. Like Shinsuke actually looked great in this match. It's just that his moves are so exaggerated. The way he does that makes his moves look a little bit like not effective. But he looked good in this match. Damon Priest was also awesome. His kicks, his running moves were really good. Andrade. Like everyone got their spot. Like even Andrade got his spot in the match. They had a table spot which I didn't think they need, because you heard like one "We want tables" chant, which started in the Jade match, but it just ended. So you didn't really need a table spot. You had the Slim Jim Snap table. I think about Joe Tessitore is I like him as a commentator. It's just that he's much better as a play-by-play guy. The thing with two-man booths is the face commentator has to be a play-by-play commentator too, which I think Joe is not able to get that wrestling commentator announcement like excitement when there are things which are exciting happening, because either he knows about it or maybe it's just he is like that. He's a good commentator, he just doesn't have that extra like charisma or zazz which you think that a guy should have. Like someone like Vic Joseph has. Like Vic Joseph is also very official in the way he does things, but he has that wrestling commentator like excitement gene in him, which I don't think Joe has. I think in a three-man booth, Joe would have been like maybe the best play-by-play commentator, because he would have had a clear face and a clear heel there. It's just his job to do the ads and be the play-by-play commentator. He would have been fine. You had a table spot. Cody went through a table. Cody got the him beating all the three people also. Like the Cody cutter he hit on Damian Priest. Whoa, the distance that he covered was great. Cody also hit the double Cody cutter. Like I'm glad he's fine, because Andrade didn't really like land that way. Even Piper did like the knees and the jaded. I thought his elbow was gone or something, but it's fine. Like Damien Priest got took out because of the Cody cutter. In the end, he was going for the second like crossroads on Andrade, but then Shinsuke grabbed him from behind, tried to go for his own crossroads, like him doing that and everything. Even at the start of the match, like Cody was the one who did the suicide dive on Shinsuke. I'm so glad that Cody's back to being the over white meat baby face with the crowd. He's so great, and the crowd is so great for like him saying his song, singing his song, even when Andrade was making a comeback. But then in the end, Cody hits Shinsuke with the crossroads and wins, and Cody is in through the semi-finals. So great episode of Smackdown, great matches. Felt like it is a show that WWE cares about, mainly due to the King and Queen of the Ring, and also I will recommend the first. I probably recommend the Cody Fatal Four Way, but many people also like really like the first Fatal Four Way of the Men. But so go and check it out too. Overall, a 3.5 out of 5 SmackDown. What did you think about this SmackDown? Tell me in the comment section. What did you think about my review? Tell me in the comment section. So if you like this type of content, like this video, share and subscribe. If you don't, then share it with those who do. My social media accounts, which are my Twitter/X account and my Instagram account, links are in the description, so go follow me on that. My UPI ID link, which is shabboy@okicici, is in the description. So donate any amount of money which you can, which can help me make YouTube a permanent career option. So that was it for me for right now. So thank you, goodbye, alvida.